IXL section BB.5 graph quadratic functions in vertex form. Okay, for this IXL, I'm going to make an exception. You guys know I never do this, but for this IXL, I'm going to say that you only got to get to 90 points, not 100. All right, so you get to 90 points, that'll be an A in the gradebook. That'll be 100% in the gradebook. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because I did the IXL, and once you get past 90, once you get into the challenge zone, it has some really annoying problems where you got to do a lot of work to try to find the right answer, and I didn't like them. I didn't think it was necessary, and I don't want to like prevent some of you guys from doing it or discourage you. So for this IXL, you only got to get to 90 points, okay? Para este IXL solamente tienen que llegar hasta 90 puntos. Okay, so in this IXL, you got to graph. You got to graph this function. Okay, and the way you need to graph it, or let me rephrase that. The way you should graph it is by first putting the vertex. First put the vertex and then plot another point on the parabola. Once you do that, the IXL will plot the whole thing for you. Okay, so like it even says it in the directions. First, they want you to plot the vertex. Okay, so how would you do that? All right, so this is the function they're giving you. And what I'm going to show you easy ways to do it, okay? But first thing I want to show you is how would I write that in this so that it matches this form, okay? ¿Cómo escribo esto para que sea igual que esta forma? O que luzca igual que esta forma. All right, like this. F of x equals 3 parentheses x minus 0 to the second power plus 0. You don't have to write this, all right? After you see 2 or 3 examples, you should see what I mean, all right? But I'm trying to show you that this is the same as this. Because when I simplify what I wrote here, I will have what's up here. So what's the vertex? This is H and this is K. The vertex is right here, 0, 0. Okay? Esto no lo tienen que escribir ustedes. Yo lo estoy escribiendo para que se den cuenta que si escribo esta función de esta forma, ¿qué tiene que ser el vertex? Tiene que ser, como no hay nada dentro de los paréntesis, el h tiene que ser 0. Déjame decir eso mejor. Como no hay nada con x dentro de los paréntesis, h tiene que ser 0. Y como no hay ningún número aquí atrás que están sumando o restando, k tiene que ser 0. All right, since there's no number that's inside the parentheses with x being added or subtracted, that means that the h has to be 0. And since there's no number back here being added or subtracted, k has to be 0. Okay, so that tells us that the vertex is 0, 0. Eso nos dice que el vertex es 0, 0. Now, what do we do about this? Okay, what we do about this is just substitute whatever easy number you want to for x. I would substitute 1. Okay, substituyen cualquier número fácil que quieren poner para x. El más fácil sería positivo 1. If you put a 1 there, when x is 1, you'd have 1 to the second power. By the way, let me erase all this. All right, if you put, what I'm saying is this, if you put a 1 for x, si sustituyemos un 1 para x, then when x is 1, you're going to have 1 to the second power is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So when x is 1 in this function, y is 3. Now in IXL, once you put those 2 points, it'll do the entire graph. It'll do the entire parabola for you. Okay, but if you know anything about parabolas, this side is going to match the left side. So I could just put when x is -1, y is 3 as well. Okay, because that's what it's going to look like, more or less. I messed up this part, but these 2 points are correct and the vertex is correct. All right, so again, you should first plot the vertex and then plot another point on the graph. Okay, primero deben poner el vertex y después otro punto que está en el graph. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, look, I'm going to tell you right now, this one is following the same look as this one. Except instead of 3, it shows -5. So you know what? The vertex is going to also be 0, 0. If you don't get that, let me write it this way so you can see what I mean. Okay, este tiene el mismo estilo, el mismo patrón que el primer ejemplo. Así que el vertex también va a ser 0,0. Si no entienden por qué, déjame escribirlo de esta forma para que lo vean. A is negative 5. A es negativo 5. Inside the parentheses, it's x minus 0 to the second power. And back here, it's plus 0. Okay, so the vertex, that's h. The vertex is h comma k. That's h and k. When I simplify this, I'll get this. Cuando simplifico esto, me da lo que me dieron en el problema. So A is negative 5. Question for you guys. And I want you to yell at your computer. No, I'm just kidding. All right, but here's a question for you guys. If A is negative 5, is the parabola going to open up or open down? Si A es negativo 5, ¿el parabola se abre para arriba o para abajo? The answer is when A is a negative number, the parabola opens down always. When A is a negative number, the parabola will always open down. Cuando A es un número negativo, el parabola siempre se abre para abajo. Alright, so my parabola is going to open down like this. Okay, now all I need to do is substitute an easy number for x. Substituyendo un número fácil para x, I would substitute positive 1. So if x is positive 1, what is f of x going to equal? Or f of 1? 1 to the second power is 1. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So when x is 1, y is negative 5. Cuando x es 1, y es negativo 5. And from there, IXL will do the rest, but you could put the same point on the opposite side. Se puede poner el mismo punto en el lado opuesto. Because when you substitute negative 1, you're going to get the same answer. Cuando sustituimos negativo 1, también nos da la misma respuesta. Alright, so there's my graph of the parabola. That's easy, guys. Alright, let's go to the next one. Again, just from looking at it, the vertex will be 0, 0. Memorize that. It'll help you analyze stuff a lot quicker the more things like that you realize, okay? Este otra vez tiene el mismo patrón. Así que el vertex también es 0,0. Lo más pronto que se dan cuenta de estas cosas, lo mejor que vamos a poder analizar los problemas y coger la respuesta. All right, so if you still don't get it, let me write it, let me expand it so that you get it. Expanded, it would look like this. Si lo escribo de esta forma, esto es lo que está pasando. All right, H and K are 0 and 0. Okay, H y K son 0 y 0. A is positive 7. A is a positive number, so the parabola opens up. Hay un número positivo, así que el parabola se abre para arriba. Okay, now just substitute an easy number like positive 1 into the function to get what is y going to be when x equals 1? It's going to be 7. Okay, so 1, 7 and negative 1, 7. And there's my parabola. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, now they added another piece to the puzzle, but it's still easy, okay? So here they give us this function. Okay, now let me write it. And by the way, again, once you get the hang of this, you don't have to write anything. You should be able to look at it and identify the vertex, hopefully, okay? But I'm going to write it in this form so that you could see what we're looking at, okay? Yo lo voy a escribir de esta forma para poder analizarlo, pero deben aprender cómo mirarlo y poder identificar dónde está el vertex simplemente de mirar esta función. Okay, so if I expand it, it's going to look like this. Okay, así que si lo escribo en esta forma, esto es lo que tenemos. H is 0 and K is positive 4. So that means that the vertex is located at 0, 4. El vertex está en 0,4. A is a positive number, so my parabola opens up. A es un número positivo, así que el parabola se abre para arriba. Okay, now to get another point on the graph, just substitute an easy number like 1 into the function to see what it gives you. Para coger otro punto que está en el gráfico, vamos a sustituir un número fácil como el número 1 para ver qué es lo que nos da. Oops, I meant to put f of x. Para ver qué es lo que nos da la función cuando x es 1. So when x is 1 in this function, y is going to equal 6. Okay, cuando x es 1, y es 6. I'm going to put it on that side and on the other side, and there's my answer. Ahí está mi respuesta. All right, there's my parabola. All right, moving to the next example. Okay, so in this one, here's our function. I'm going to write it in expanded form. So it's going to look like this. -7, parentheses, x minus 0, close parentheses, to the second power, plus 9. So here's h, and here's k. Okay, so my vertex is located at 0,9. Okay, aquí está el vertex en 0,9. Now, a is the negative number, so my parabola is going to open down. A es un número negativo, así que el parabola se abre para abajo. Okay, so now I'm just going to locate another point on the graph by substituting an easy number, such as +1. So when I put +1 into the function and solve, it's going to tell me that when x is +1, y is going to equal +2, because -7 plus 9 is +2. Cuando x es 1, y es positivo 2. So I'm going to put it on this side as well as on the other side. And there's my parabola. There's my answer. Hopefully by now you're getting the hang of it and seeing that it's easy. Okay, here's another one. So when I write it in expanded form, you should be able to tell right off the bat that the vertex, what's the vertex, huh? What is the vertex in this function? It's 0, 1. 0, 1. Because when I write it in this form, you'll see that I have this. So this is h, and this is k. Así que el vertex está en 0,1. A is positive, so the parabola opens up. A es positivo, así que el parabola se abre para arriba. Okay, and then to get another point, let me substitute 1 and see what it gives me. Para coger otro punto, estoy sustituyendo 1 para ver lo que me da. And when x equals 1, y is 5. Cuando x es 1, y es 5. And there's my parabola. Okay, guys, on this slide, they give us this function, and if I write it out in expanded form, that means I'll have this. All right, so the vertex is going to be located at -9, comma 0, -9. The vertex, the coordinate for h is -9 and for k is 0. So the vertex is located right there, -9, comma 0. Remember, if you're confused by that, remember that the formula is x minus h. So that means that this has to be x minus parentheses -9 in order for this to become +9. So h is -9. H es -9. All right, so here's the vertex. Now a is a negative number, so that means that the parabola opens down. A es un número negativo, así que el parabola se abre para abajo. Okay, so we've already identified the vertex. Now let's substitute. Okay, now let me point something out. Look at where the vertex is. So the number that I'm going to substitute to get another number on that graph, I'm gonna choose either -10 or -8. Like, get a number that's one or two units around the vertex. All right, so that's different. This is the first one I do like this. So everybody should pay attention. Could you substitute +1? Yes, you could, but the issue is that if you substitute +1, there's a good chance you're going to get something outside of the grid. So that's why I'm putting -8 or -10, okay? When I substitute -8, I'll have this. Now, when I work this out, negative 8 plus 9 is positive 1. 1 to the second power is 1, and 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So when x is negative 8, y is negative 5. And I can put that on both sides. Because remember, the axis of symmetry is in the middle and it splits the parabola into two equal parts. Okay, so I'll say that again. My vertex is located at negative 9, comma 0. To find another point on the graph, I chose a number. The best thing to do is to choose a number that's not too far away from the vertex. Either 1 or 2 units to the right or 1 or 2 units to the left. And again, you could have chosen positive 1 or negative 1, but the problem that's going to give you is that almost for sure it's going to give you a point that's outside of the grid that we have here. So it won't help us to do our graph. So you need to choose something close to the vertex. That's why I chose negative 8, okay? Así que aquí es un poco diferente porque el vertex está aquí en negativo 9, positivo, negativo 9,0. ¿Ok? Y para encontrar otro punto que está en el gráfico, deben escoger un número que está 1 o 2 unidades para la derecha o para la izquierda del vertex. Si hago lo que estaba haciendo en los otros problemas, donde cojo el número 1, eso me da otro punto que está en el gráfico, pero el problema es que me va a dar un número que está fuera del espacio que necesito para hacer el gráfico. Necesito algo más cerca al vertex. Así que siempre para coger otro punto deben escoger un número para x, un valor para x que está 1 o 2 unidades para la derecha o para la izquierda del vertex. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, so here's our function. If I write it out in expanded form, I'm going to have this. So h is positive 9. I'm sorry, I made the same error when I spoke last time. H is negative 9. I'm sorry, negative 9. And k is 0. Okay? If I'm making that mistake, that means, because I'm trying to do two things at once, that means that a lot of you guys are going to make the same mistake as well when you're not like 100% focused. So remember, this is x minus negative 9 in order for it to become x plus 9. Because look at the formula. The formula is x minus h. So h has to be negative 9. Tengan cuidado porque hasta me pasa a mí si no estoy poniendo atención. Es muy fácil creer que h es positivo 9 cuando de verdad es negativo 9. Así que tengan cuidado. All right, so the vertex is located right here at negative 9, comma 0. A is an invisible positive 1 here. So A is positive, so the parabola opens up. Okay, A es el 1 invisible aquí, que está aquí. Okay, así que A es un número positivo, así que el parabola se abre para arriba. Okay, so now again, I'm going to choose to get another point on this graph. I'm going to choose a number to the 1 unit to the right or 1 unit to the left of the vertex. So let's choose negative 8 again. Actually, let me erase all this. Otra vez, para coger otro punto que está en el gráfico, voy a escoger un valor para x que está una unidad para la derecha o para la izquierda del vertex. Así que déjame coger negativo 8. So when I substitute negative 8, I'm going to have that. So negative 8 plus 9 is positive 1, and 1 to the second power is 1. So when x is negative 8, y is positive 1. And I can put it on both sides of the vertex. And there's my parabola. One moment. Okay, let's go to the next example. Okay, so this is already easy to see. It's in vertex form. So when it's in vertex form, what's going to be the vertex? Okay, what's h and what's k? Okay, h is going to be, in this case, negative 7. and k is the positive 7 that's back here. All right, so that means that the vertex is located right here at -7 comma positive 7. Okay, now a is a positive number. It's positive 2. That's a. Okay, a es positivo 2. So that means that the parabola opens up. El parabola se abre para arriba si a es positivo. So now let me choose a number either to the right or to the left of where the vertex is to substitute that into the function to see what value I get for y. So I'm going to choose -6. If I substitute -6, estoy sustituyendo -6 para x en esa función para ver qué es lo que me da para y. So if I substitute -6, I'm going to have the following. Now, when I work that out, -6 plus 7 will give me positive 1. 1 to the second power is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And now 2 plus 7 equals 9. So when x is -6, y is positive 9. When x is -6, y is positive 9. And I'm going to put it on the other side as well. And there's my parabola. Cuando x es -6, y es positivo 9. Okay, a few more examples. Okay, this one has a fraction in it, but it's easy. All right, let's look at it. Esta tiene una fracción, pero es fácil. Okay, so first of all, let's identify the vertex. The vertex. Remember, the vertex of the parabola is at h comma k. You can always look here at the formula. Okay, vamos a identificar el vertex. So the vertex, h is -1. H es negativo 1. And k is positive 6. So -1, positive 6 is where the vertex is at. Okay? Now, the a, what is a? A is -1/4. Remember, a is right here. A is -1/4. Since a is negative, the parabola is going to open down. Como a es negativo, el parabola se abre para abajo. Okay, now let me erase all this. So my vertex is right there. The parabola is opening down. Okay, now to find another point on the graph, I'm going to pick the easiest number that I could pick that's pretty close to the vertex. So let's pick 0. I'm going to substitute 0 into the function, okay? Para encontrar otro punto en ese gráfico, voy a coger un valor para x cerca al vertex. Y el más fácil que está sería el 0. Alright, so if x is 0, si x es 0, I would have this. -1/4 times 0 plus 1 to the second power plus 6. Okay, now when I work that out, 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 to the second power is 1. 1 times -1/4 gives me -1/4. Now I got to add these two. Okay, so the 6, I got to change the 6 to have a 4 on the bottom. So ask yourself, what number divided by 4 equals 6? What number divided by 4 equals 6? 24 divided by 4 equals 6. See how I did that? 24 divided by 4 equals this number. So that's how I was able to get an equivalent fraction. I asked myself, I saw that I needed 4 on the bottom, so I just asked myself, what number divided by 4 equals 6? Or you could just do 6 times 4 and get that number. Anyways, when I combine that, okay, I may need to do this again. When I combine that, I get 23/4, which when I divide this, I'm going to get, give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to have to redo this. Because when I divide that, I get 5.75. Okay, 23 divided by 4. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do right now. When I divide it, it gives me that. So I'm gonna redo this part, okay? Because I need to get a number that's gonna either give me a whole number or something 0.5. All right. So let me try that again. But let me pause let me pause the video because I gotta unlock a test here. Give me one moment. Okay, guys. So as I was saying, when I tried to substitute 0 for x, that didn't really work because although it does give me another point on the graph, it gave me something that's in between the lines and doesn't really let me graph it, right? So we need something a little bit more exact. So let me try a different number. Okay, now look at how I'm going to figure out what number would make this problem easy for me, okay? Miren cómo voy a encontrar un número para hacer el problema más fácil. Okay, notice something. Whatever value I substitute for x, I'm going to add it with 1 and square it. Okay? Now, you know what number would make my life really easy for me to get here? Is if I could get a 4 out of this. Why? Because look, if I get a 4, I could cancel it out with this 4 that's in the denominator when I multiply it with negative 1 over 4. I'll say it again. The best number that would make my life easy would be if when I add 1 to it and square it, it gives me a 4 so that I could then cancel it out with a 4 that's in the denominator of this fraction when I multiply them together. El número más conveniente para coger aquí sería un 4. Porque si tengo un 4, cuando lo multiplico por negativo 1 sobre 4, los 4 se cancelan y eso me quita la fracción. That'll get rid of the fraction. So what number, when you add it with 1 and square it, will give you 4? Well, let's start with here. What number, when you square it, equals 4? 2. If I square 2, I get 4. So what number plus 1 equals 2? 1. If I put a 1 right there, 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 to the second power is 4. So that would be the easiest one to put. Let's put 1. I know we were using 1 before, but in this case, 1 is 2 units away, so that's why I didn't try it right off the bat. All right, so anyways, when I substitute 1, now I'm going to have 1 plus 1 to the second power plus 6. 1 over 4 times 1 plus 1 to the second power plus 6. This will lead me to getting this situation. This is 2 to the second power, which gives you 4. Now, if you didn't understand what I was saying before, this is what I meant. To get a number here that cancels out with this denominator. Now, my problem is 1 plus 6, which equals 7. So when x is 1, y is 7. All right? And now I could do, that's 2 units to the right. So I could go 2 units to the left and put a dot right there. And there's my parabola. Okay, este punto está 2 unidades a la derecha, así que puedo ir 2 unidades a la izquierda y poner otro punto. Okay, all right, let's look at the next one. Okay, this one's going to be, I think, similar. Okay, so first of all, what is the vertex? What is the vertex? Well, we see right there that H is 6. H is 6. And K is supposed to be back here, and there's nothing back there. We already know what that means. That means that K is 0. Okay? Como no hay nada aquí atrás, K es 0. So my vertex is located at 6, 0. Okay, 6, 0. Okay, now let me find another point on the parabola. A is positive, so that tells me that the parabola opens up. A es positivo, así que el parabola se abre para arriba. Okay, so now let me try a number before or after. Or actually, hold on. Before I do that, let's look at this a second. Before, I don't want to make another mistake and choose the wrong number here. Okay, so look. Again, we have a 4. We have a 4 right here. So what would make this really easy is if when we subtract 6 and square whatever we put for x, if it gives us 4 so that we can cancel it out with this 4. Okay, let's see if that works. So what number can I put here that when I subtract 6 and square it will give me 4? First of all, what number to the second power is 4? 2. 2 to the second power is 4. So what number minus 6 will equal 2? What number minus 6 will equal 2? That has to be 8 because 8 minus 6 equals 2. All right, so let's substitute 8. if I substitute the number 8 for x, now 8 minus 6 is 2. And 2 to the second power is going to give me 4. Now the 4's cancel out. So when x is 8, y is 3. When x is 8, y is 3. Cuando x es 8, y es 3. Since that's 2 units to the right of my vertex, I'm going to go 2 units to the left of the vertex and put a dot right there as well. On IXL, you only got to do it once, but I'm just showing if you had to graph it, how you would do it easily. Okay? And there is my parabola. All right, here's another one with a fraction for a. Let's look at it. So first of all, let's identify the vertex. Okay, so the vertex is at h comma k. So that means that the vertex is -5 comma also -5. All right, that's the vertex. -5, -5. All right, -5, -5 is right here. All right, now let's do the same process. They keep putting fractions with a 4 on the bottom. So let's do the same technique that I was doing before. The ideal situation is to get a 4 here to cancel it out with this 4. Okay, lo ideal sería coger un 4 aquí para cancelarlo con este 4. All right, so what number, when you add 5 to it and square it, will give you 4? Well, let's work backwards. What number to the second power is 4? 2. All right, so what number plus 5 equals 2? What number plus 5 equals 2? Just go like this. Sorry, -5, and you'll get your answer. X would equal -3. Okay, -3 plus 5 equals 2. -3 más 5 me da 2. Para poder coger un 4 aquí. So let's substitute -3 into the function. When I do that, I'm gonna have that, okay? So -3 plus 5 is 2. 2 to the second power is 4. Now I'm gonna have this situation. Sorry, it's getting a little messy there. The 4's cancel out. So when x is -3, I'm gonna have 1 minus 5, which equals -4. Cuando x es -3, y es -4. When x is -3, y is -4. That's 2 units to the right of the vertex, so I could go 2 units to the left and put a dot right there. And there's my parabola. Ok, 2 unidades a la derecha, así que puedo ir 2 unidades a la izquierda del vertex para también poner el mismo punto. Ok, just one moment. Okay. Okay, now let me go over the type of problems that I hope you're not going to have to deal with. This example, I need everybody's attention because I want to explain something. So please, if you're doing IXL or doing something else, please give me your attention a second. Okay, at the beginning I said that for this IXL, you just got to get to 90. Okay, you only got to get to 90. The reason I put that is because I think this is only in the challenge zone. I only saw them in the challenge zone, so I hope it's the same for everybody. But in the challenge zone, when they put fractions inside the parentheses, like here, like before, the fractions that we were seeing in the last couple of examples where A is, that's fine. I have no problem with that. You should be able to do that. But when they put a fraction inside the parentheses, it takes a lot, like it took me, all right, a lot of trial and error to find, not to find the vertex, but to find another point on the graph. I mean, the vertex is no problem. Everybody should be able to see that the vertex on this is this, which, by the way, if you're not sure what this is, just divide it, and you're going to get -4.5. Okay, so the vertex is no problem. It should not be a problem for anybody. So that's not why I'm saying that you don't have to do these. There's the vertex. all right? And A is negative, so it's opening down, okay? But again, the reason why I'm saying that you only have to get up to 90 is because when they put the fraction right here, it takes a lot of try. It took me a lot of trial and error to find what value can I put for x to get another point that we could actually graph on this grid. All right, it was taking me quite a few tries, and I really thought it was too much to ask and not really necessary to go through all that headache for what I need you to learn. Okay, so why am I pointing this out? Okay, I believe this only comes out on the challenge zone. If by any chance you happen to get a fraction inside the parentheses before you get to 90, send me a screenshot on remind so that maybe I could change what you got to get to. But again, I think that's only going to happen in the challenge zone. And let me say that in Spanish and then I'll show you the answer for this one so you can see what I mean. Okay, así que al principio dije que en este IXL solamente tienen que llegar hasta 90 puntos, porque después de 90 los problemas que le ponen, algunos de los problemas que le ponen, tienen una fracción aquí dentro de los paréntesis, no afuera, afuera está bien, pero dentro de los paréntesis sí lo hace más difícil. Hasta yo tenía problemas encontrando qué valor puedo sustituir para X para encontrar otro punto en el gráfico que es fácil colocar en el gráfico, ¿ok? Y es bastante difícil. Así que por eso dije que para este IXL solamente tienen que llegar hasta 90. Les estoy enseñando esto por si cuando están haciendo este IXL, si por casualidad ven una fracción dentro de los paréntesis antes de llegar a 90 puntos, que me manden una foto por Remind para a lo mejor cambiar hasta qué punto le digo que tienen que llegar en este IXL. Pero estoy casi seguro que una fracción dentro de los paréntesis solamente le sale en el challenge zone después de que pasan 90. Okay? And by the way, here's the answer. Like the vertex was right there, but to find another point that I could graph on here, you could try like these whole numbers as well as the fractions in between. Not by the fractions in between, I mean at the halfway point. Like look what it says here. Now look for another point. I'm reading this sentence. Now look for another point on the parabola with integer or half integer coordinates. So either integers or like for example, this is negative 9 over 2. So you don't have to also try negative 7 over 2, negative 5 over 2, negative 3 over 2. And you wouldn't get an answer until you get to negative 3 over 2. That's the one that gets you a point that you could actually plot on the graph, which is a lot of work, and it takes like 3 or 4 times, unless you get lucky on the first try. It takes like 3 or 4 times before you find one, maybe even more. So it's really asking a lot. I thought it was too much. All right, so again, if you get a fraction inside the parentheses, I'm trying to have you avoid those. If you see them before you get to 90, send me a screenshot on Remind so I could update what number I tell you to get to. But I'm pretty sure you won't see that unless you get to the challenge zone. All right, guys, so that's it for this lesson. This is a super important IXL, just like all these on the quadratic function are. So please try to do them. Please try to definitely get them done before you get back from spring break, okay? Because when we get back from spring break, we're going to do even more on the quadratic function and get even more, I don't want to say complicated, but more into it, all right? So please make sure to do them. That's it for today, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and enjoy your spring break. And I'll hopefully see you guys after spring break, right? Take care. Have a great spring break, guys.